or we will be happy to help you out over the phone. 800 Endtime. We are taking your calls on the show today. That number is 877 Endtime, 877-363-8463. Doug, you will own nothing and be happy. Does that sound like something that would make you happy?
No, it doesn't sound like anything to make me happy. It really, I mean, once you see this city, that wouldn't make you happy either, I don't think. I mean, there could be some people who are happy being in a fishbowl, but
it's a pretty cool looking city.
Yeah.
I could imagine playing hide and seek in it if it was a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But
you get lost in that.
It's pretty unbelievable. The weird part about it that kind of makes me squirm a little is the AI part of it, which we'll get into. Really weird how it's looking, Doug.
Yeah.
And I imagine that perhaps there are conspiracy theories already going around that if this is being introduced as a smart city for, I don't know what it would take to get in. It's probably like an apartment complex. You apply and maybe you're accepted, maybe you're not. I don't know. But if they're introducing it to the public now, what do they have available in secret?
Yeah.
For the elites. We've heard about this for many years. And it sounds a lot like that, which is what makes it even more weird.
Yeah, there's no telling. Of course, anything they've got is probably buried under the ground where it's safe and nobody knows about it. But
or up in space.
Or up in space, yeah, who knows. But, you know, we talked about this a few months ago locally here in Dallas. We had these smart cities. What they're talking about, they want to transform the city into a smart city.
I think Dallas is a smart city, right?
Yes, it is.
In compliance with WEF or along those lines or something? I don't remember exactly.
It has
now.
something to do with the WEF, whether they sponsor it and help pay for the initial setup or what. I don't know exactly how.
Well, why would they do that when they've got tax dollars ready to be used?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, you know, Saudi Arabia is getting some help somewhere to do this. I mean, they do have a lot of money there, but this thing, when you see it, it's jaw-dropping.
Well, anyway, we talked about it a few months ago that Dallas is a smart city. You were saying something there before.
Yeah, so we've got these apartment complexes even right here down the street from us that are self-contained apartment complexes that have restaurants in the bottom of them, have shopping centers in the bottom of them, hair salons, nail places, doctor's offices. This is what they want to get us used to, is living in a box that is self-contained within a box and having these little pods basically in the middle of these cities where everything is right there, where you don't have to travel far. You know, they want people working from home. Remember, that was one of the things we talked about, the WEF. They want people working from home at least 3 days a week where they're not traveling as much to keep emissions down, things like that. So this is all just kind of moving toward what their sustainable development goals are.
Yeah, this city that Saudi Arabia has introduced is called The Line. And it gets its name, honestly. It's literally a really long line.
Yeah.
We've got a video that we're going to show you after the break. But it's kind of an interesting thing because of there's no vehicles going to be allowed. It's not even, there aren't roads to drive on if you had a vehicle, and I'm not sure how you'd get in. I don't know how you get out either, Doug. That's kind of creepy.
That's what's kind of scary.
But there's a train system, and you can travel this thing, which I think is about 110 miles long. I think you can travel it from end to end in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And so it's quite a convenient and cool place that I'm sure will be quite the attraction. But I don't want to live there.
Right. And as we get into it, we'll kind of talk about some of the dangers of this being implemented and being something that we see everywhere. Of course, you know, Saudi Arabia, they're in talks with Israel right now for being part of the Abraham Peace Accords. And it makes you wonder, is this something that even they want, you know, to be in development in Israel, in the Middle East, everywhere? Is this what we're coming to? Is this what they want? They don't want cities expanding out anymore and taking up countryside. They want it to be, you know, kind of built upward and outward that way. So interesting the way this is. And it's made along trade routes too. So it's going to have plenty of food supply. They talk about having great medical, you know, supplies there too. So yeah, might sound like a good idea for some people.
For the people that aren't familiar with the WEF, could you quickly explain what that is, because I know we're probably speaking foreign language to people who aren't up to speed on that.
Right. So the World Economic Forum, and like every year they meet in Davos, Switzerland, and they get all the world leaders together, and they talk about how to move us toward that sustainable development. They're a branch of the United Nations.
Now, they're officially a branch, or they just kind of work with them?
They work with them for sure. I don't know exactly how they're all in there, together, but they are part of the UN collective, and they are part of the one world government. They're the economic side of it. And we've heard Klaus Schwab brag about having cabinets within other countries.
And he leads the WEF.
Yes, Klaus Schwab is the man. So he's the Bond villain that everybody talks about.
He kind of sounds like it and looks like it.
Yeah.
And people who he advises, he's considered an advisor to people like Justin Trudeau, Emmanuel Macron, Joe Biden, Leonardo DiCaprio, who's obviously not a political figure, but these are some of the people that are sitting in these forums.
Yeah.
And then going out and repeating the agendas and implementing the agendas.
Absolutely. And so he has a big reach. It's like an octopus with many tentacles, I guess.
One of their principles that they are teaching and trying to get out there is you will own nothing and be happy. And they intend for this to happen by 2030. That's almost 7 years away. Interesting number. We'll talk more about it on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
Satan and the elites of this world don't want you to understand the timeline leading to the second coming of Jesus. You can pinpoint where we are in the end time, understand how you fit in, and be filled with hope in God's plan by watching The Future According to Bible Prophecy. Go to endtime.com/future or call 800-ENDTIME. That's 800-363-8463.
Hi, I'm Judy Baxter. When Irvin and I got married, we didn't realize that our calling would be a prophetic ministry. Since we started Endtime Ministries, there have been many times we weren't sure how we would pay the bills, but God has always provided. We started with the magazine, then went on radio and TV, and now we have the Jerusalem Prophecy College in Israel and online and End of the Age Plus. The mission has always been to reach people with the gospel of Jesus Christ and the end time message. Through the years, my husband would say, we will see revival like never before in the last days. We are living in the end time now. Thank you for walking this journey with us and continuing in prayer. You are a part of the team. Thank you for your generous support. It is necessary for God's purpose. The most important thing is that you are ready when the Lord comes. Our hope is to help prepare you for that day. God bless you, and we love you.
What if you could understand Bible prophecy? Dave Robbins, the host of the End of the Age television and radio programs, is holding a free prophecy conference near you. Gain peace and understanding about what the Bible says concerning end-time prophecy. Call 1-800-ENDTIME or visit endtime.com/events for more information.
Welcome back to Into the Age. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We have open lines at 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. We'll be getting to calls momentarily. We're talking about how Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum has stated you will own nothing and be happy. And then Saudi Arabia has recently, I think it was yesterday, released news about their new city called The Line, and we're going to look at that today. But before we do, I want to remind you that Dave and Jana Robbins will be in New Orleans, Louisiana, Saturday, August 6th, and Sunday, August 7th. Specifically, it's in Marrero, so the New Orleans area. Saturdays at 6 p.m., Dave will be talking about the Antichrist Socialistic Kingdom, and then Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m., Breaking Prophecy News. So if you're in the New Orleans area, make plans to come out and meet Dave and Jana. We'd love to see you there. You can learn more about the venue and the event at endtime.com/events. Or if you call us at 800-ENDTIME, we'd be happy to share more information about that. So New Orleans area, make plans to come out and join us. And then also, surprisingly, Doug, our fall tour filled up within, I think it was 10 days, totally full, no room for anyone else. And then surprisingly, we've had 3 people that had to back out. And so that means that there are 3 slots now available for our fall Israel tour. We are taking a group of people over to Jerusalem, and all of Israel. We'll be touring that for, I think it's 10 days, but don't quote me on that. You'll need to get more information. It's certainly more than a week, and it's almost 2 weeks, somewhere in that range. But we have 3 slots that are now available because some folks had to back out for various reasons. So that's not available on our website anywhere. You can't find any information about it. So you will have to call 800 Endtime, 800-363-8463, ask for Jana or Brittany, and they will be able to help you out with the fall tour. All right, again, we are taking your calls, 877 Endtime. If we say anything that strikes a chord with you, give us a call. We'd love to answer your questions or hear your comment about You Will Own Nothing and Be Happy. World government, Doug. This is coming just before the second coming of Jesus.
Absolutely.
And so that's why we're talking about it. This story comes from the Daily Wire, and it's about this mega city or this smart city that Saudi Arabia has released. The story says, Twitter users drew comparisons to dystopian horror Wednesday after Saudi Arabia shared an advertisement for a Titanic mega city project it has proposed. The project, simply referred to as The Line, is a smart mega city project being proposed. The ambitious project will be just 650 feet wide and about 1,600 feet tall. What building did they say that was? The Empire State Building?
Yeah.
Very tall. But it is planned to stretch for just under 106 miles long. The project's website claims that once it's completed, the city will be home to some 9 million residents.
Wow.
That is essentially Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah.
In this long line of a building. For too long, for too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature, a promotional video for the project says. Now a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The video claims that the line is being designed to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The line's website promotes the futuristic megacity as operating on 100% renewable energy and preserving 95% of the surrounding land for nature. The city will be built as a series of individual nodes connected by a high-speed rail system that can travel the length of the city in just 20 minutes. The city is divided into 3 layers, 2 layers underground for transportation and infrastructure, and the surface layer, which will be exclusively for pedestrians. There will be no cars or roads, and the website claims that all residents will be able to access their daily necessities within a 5-minute walk. The city will also be driven by AI technology. The promotional video says that services will be autonomous, and the artificial intelligence working with data analysis and predictive models will figure out ways to improve daily lives. Wow, that sounds wonderful, Doug.
Doesn't it?
Sounds like freedom. According to Bloomberg, earthwork on the city began in October 2021, and the first residents are projected to move in by 2024.
Yeah, so that's not very far away, 2024.
No.
So it's kind of crazy to think about that. And this seems like something so futuristic that it seems like, how can this be in our time? You know, it's just like the way we keep seeing the World Economic Forum talk about transhumanism and AI technology and all these things. And we see, you know, Tesla, the Tesla guy, what's his name? Help me out.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Is he the Antichrist?
No, I don't think he is.
Have you heard that one before?
I have heard that one before. But he wants to have a port put in all of us where we can hook up to the internet and be the internet of peoples and be able to, you know, upload and download information, which is, it just seems so far in the future and sci-fi and futuristic that it's hard to believe. But wait till you see this city, folks.
Doug, we have a video that's absolutely mind-boggling. We're going to play it in a minute, but before we do, I do want to remind you, we're going to share here in a minute about how the WEF and Klaus Schwab has tried to erase the quote, "You will own nothing and be happy." So they've tried to erase that from their online footprint. The problem is so many people have shared it, so many people have screenshotted it, they can't get rid of it. Here's the thing. The elites of this world, I mean, just frankly, they don't want this negative press. And so by calling this show, "You will own nothing and be happy," undoubtedly this video is going to get suppressed. So if you would help us out by hitting the share button, hitting the heart icon, and even commenting, that helps us break through the algorithms a bit and get in front of your friends and family. So when you share this video, we think it's something that they need to know about. It does help the video go a long way. So please do that now. We're going to play this video, which is going to be very interesting, so check it out.
Countless governments and companies have taken a stab at building a city of the future. There's Songdo in South Korea, the Alphabet-funded Quayside project in Toronto, which was abandoned in May of last year, and both Singapore and Barcelona have tried to modernize with smart sensors. In January of 2021, Saudi Arabia announced plans for its own futuristic city called The Line. Instead of communities sprawling outward from a central location, they would be built vertically and arranged, well, in a line, hence the name. Even though the vision for the city stretches 170 kilometers, it would do away with cars entirely and instead be connected by high-speed rail that would travel the entire length in just 20 minutes. And each individual community would be largely self-contained so that almost anything you could need, be it a school, a doctor, or a quick meal, would be only a 5-minute walk away. The government says the line will run on 100% clean energy and make extensive use of sensors and AI to manage the city's services. And all of this is supposed to be nestled in the pristine natural landscape of the Tabuk province with minimal impact on the environment. Now the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has revealed grandiose renders of what the city will look like to match the grandiose plans. The line is envisioned as a giant glass and mirrored wall, 170 kilometers long, 200 meters wide, and 500 meters tall. That's taller than the Empire State Building. It would have greenery stretching along the top, an open-air ventilation system to help maintain an ideal climate year-round, and it would house up to 9 million people. Now, the line is just one part of Saudi Arabia's controversial $500 billion NEOM megacity project. For one, the so-called virgin land that the government is building NEOM on is, unsurprisingly, not all that virgin. It is the ancestral and current home of many people, including members of the Hawatat tribe who are being forced from their homes for what many see as a vanity project that won't amount to much in reality. Those who have dared to speak out against the government's plans or refuse to give up their homes have been harassed and abducted by Saudi security forces, arrested, or in some cases killed. For example, Abdul Rahim al-Hawati, a prominent Hawatat activist, was killed by police in April of 2020 after posting videos on social media trying to raise awareness of the forced displacement. All of this controversy has even led to some commercial partners pulling out of deals like Riot Games, which had signed on NEOM to sponsor the League of Legends European Championship. Backlash from the gaming community caused that to quickly unravel. Now, even if NEOM is eventually built and lives up to its lofty promises, there will still be plenty of more cause for concern. The line is expected to be loaded with countless sensors, cameras, and facial recognition technology that, in such a confined space, could push government surveillance to almost unthinkable levels.
So think about that for a second, Vince. They got facial recognition there. They've got underground grids to where everywhere you walked, there would be sensors that would let them know. It's like a movie. When you know, there's movies out there that have this kind of strange technology in it. I can remember a movie that Tom Cruise was in, and it escapes me right now what the name of it was, but he was walking along a corridor inside a building, and there were screens up everywhere he walked, and it was speaking directly to him, saying, "Hey, you need a vacation. How about?" And he'd walk past something else, and it'd say, "How about a new car?" You know, and it was calling him by name. That's the type of technology that we're talking about here, where they're going to be able to recognize everything you do and follow you everywhere. And you know, so anything you're doing, it's going to be like the book that we've talked about several times before. the
1984?
Thank you, 1984. Man, I know I'm having trouble today thinking of this stuff because it's just, this stuff mind boggles me. It makes me just sit there and go, wow, is this really where we're heading? So
Doug, you're having newborn brain is what
I
it
am
is.
too, yeah.
You didn't have a newborn, but you have a newborn grandchild, so congrats on that.
Thank
Hadn't
you.
brought it up yet.
Appreciate that.
Forgot that
Yes.
happened between the last time we were on.
So Jace Douglas came into the world on Tuesday, and he weighed 9 pounds and 10 ounces. He's a big boy.
No doubt.
And we are keeping my granddaughter, who is our first grandbaby, and
she's 3, right?
Yeah. And so
you're
being a grandfather
busy.
and taking care of a 3-year-old, I see why the Lord lets us do all that in our 20s and 30s. So, yeah, it's been a challenge. So I may be a little brain fogged today because of some of that. But anyway, this is so strange because what it does boil down to is control. It boils down to that. And Saudi Arabia, like you said at the first of the hour there, they are very much a part of the World Economic Forum. And so to see this, it almost appears like they're saying, okay, well, let's try it on the mega scale in Saudi Arabia and see how all this goes. It's almost like it's we're living through a science project or something. So it's very strange. The possibilities there. I know that if you're a technology nut, you probably think, man, that sounds amazing. But when you look at it from a freedom point of view and what you're losing, they do not want you to own anything, and they want you to be contained in these places.
You sound like a conspiracy theorist, Doug.
Right?
How can this be true?
Well, that is what the Bible tells us is going to happen. There'll be control over people. And I mean, the possibilities here for the world government are endless, because if they get you there, then you're going to become dependent on them. You're going to become dependent on them for everything you've got, and say that you're not being compliant with what they want you to do. They have ways that they can punish you.
Drop you out over the mirror.
Yeah, no doubt. Just set you out in the middle of the desert, and you're
Good luck.
done for. So yeah, it's kind of scary to think about, but it's very interesting because this is part of that agenda.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the phones now, Doug. Let's go to Jim in the truck. You can join us too. The number to join us is 877-END-TIME, 877-363-8463. Jim, welcome to End of the Age.
Yeah, it looks like a human ant farm to me. I don't know, man.
That's a good description.
Yeah.
You know, they throw you up over that mirror, man. Hopefully they give you a parachute.
No doubt.
Yeah. You know, so I was just thinking, though, maybe it's a good way to contain people if you're going to end up maybe euthanizing them, too, because that's another part of their plan also, I'm wondering. But I was also going to ask you about what do you know about Dallas? I never even knew until you mentioned it today that Dallas is actually a smart city, and you don't know any plans that they have. You said earlier that they're not connected to the WEF, or what do you know about that?
Well, we think they are kind of connected with the WEF. From what we did on that program, Jim, it talked about these are sustainable apartment complexes and things like that are along the lines of what the WEF want and what they're kind of pushing these through to certain cities. Do you remember, Vince? It was
on June 23rd, and if you go to End of the Age Plus and search smart cities, there's only one video that says that on it, and it's WEF launches smart cities, and in it we talk about Dallas and what's happened here. So,
and there were other places here within the United States, but it was
Pittsburgh
worldwide.
was one of them, and there's several
Tennessee
cities.
was another one, Chattanooga, I think, Tennessee. And so it's a worldwide thing, though, Jim. They're doing this around the world, and this is the biggest that we've seen so far there in Saudi Arabia.
Well, you know they're connected. There's no doubt about it. Hey, I wanted to just give a shout-out to Peter over there in Australia, say hi to him. And also, I sent you another email or a thing about that. When I heard Dave mention that come November we're going to have 8 billion people on the planet, when I did the division of the 8 billion divided by 3, because 1/3 of humanity is going to be destroyed, it comes out to 2,666,666,666,666,666. So
that's a lot of sixes.
That is, and that's the mark of the beast. And now I'm wondering. See, I found that, but I'm just curious if there's anybody smarter out there that's a mathematician.
We'll have to look into that, Jim. We're up against a break, so we got to let you go. Thanks for calling. You can join us too at 877-END-TIME, 877-363-8463. Don't forget to go to endtime.com/birthday. You have 3 days left to participate.
Whether it's a global pandemic, threat of war, or floundering economies, end-time events are happening around the world every day. How can you have peace in a world of such great uncertainty? With the Endtime magazine subscription, you can gain a deeper understanding of current events and its prophesied repercussions. Endtime magazine's exclusive content and prophetic insight allows you to understand where we are in the end time. It will give you peace when horrific news and events happen. When you subscribe today to Endtime magazine for 12 months for just $19.99, you can have hope for the future because you will understand what the Bible says about the time we are living in. You'll get access to exclusive articles like the prophesied American-Israeli alliance, Endtime do's and don'ts, and could school choice save America? Subscribe for you or a friend right now. Go to endtime.com or call 1-800-END-TIME. That's 1-800-END-TIME.
The symbols and prophecies within the book of Revelation have perplexed Christians and unbelievers around the world. In his final work, Revelation, The Unveiling of Jesus Christ Part 2, the late Irvin Baxter unlocks the mystery of the book of Revelation with in-depth analysis and commentary like you've never heard before. These comprehensive study tools, available for $299, will deepen your biblical understanding. Don't miss this special offer. Call 1-800-END-TIME or go to endtime.com.
If your station only carries the first 30 minutes of End of the Age, go to endtime.com and click the watch button to continue today's broadcast. You can also finish up later by clicking the archive button.
Welcome back to End of the Age. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Don't forget again to go to endtime.com/birthday. We've got Understanding the End Time, which is a 14 lesson series by Irvin Baxter, one of our foundational series. It's been part of End Time Ministry since our existence, but of course this one was updated about a decade ago, and we're currently updating it again with Dave and some, I guess, legacy clips of Irvin Baxter mixed in. But the current version is available, Understand the End Time, for $99, a donation of $99, and there's only about 100 of those available. And then Revelation Volume 1, which is our latest series, it comes with a book and 10 DVDs for Volume 1. It is 50% off. And then Revelation Volume 2, which is 11 lessons and a book, also 50% off. So you can get both of those for, the price of two? No, the price of one. There it is.
There you go.
I'm like, man, what's that saying? Yeah, so you can get both of those for the price of one.
Two for the price of one.
And then Irvin's Last Words is available for a donation of any amount. Go to endtime.com/birthday.
You don't have baby brain.
Yeah, I have a toddler brain. I've got a 4, 2, and a 12-week-old. And chickens.
Yeah.
They're a lot of work.
Yeah, they are.
Now, Doug, we're talking about this city in Saudi Arabia called The Line that they've just started talking about yesterday. At least it kind of hit the mainstream. And what we're really talking about today is world government, ultimately. That's what the Bible tells us the system will be in place just before the second coming of Jesus. Right. So when we say things like, you will own nothing and be happy, from Klaus Schwab and a place called the World Economic Forum, where all the world leaders gather to listen to them teach principles like transhumanism, crazy stuff like this, and you've got world leaders that are sitting there being students of these presenters, taking it in and then going and repeating the policies. It alarms us. We go, hey, that is something we need to talk about.
Right.
So when we see a city go in that's called a smart city, and it's also in Saudi Arabia, who's part of the WEF, it is alarming because of all the details that look a lot like this world government system that the Bible told us about, written thousands of years ago.
Yeah, and so one of the things they're doing too that, I think we can't just kind of glaze over is the fact that they're taking people's land to do this. They talked about this area that's a tribal area where these people are being arrested, where they're being persecuted in that area. And one man was even killed because on social media, he was trying to make people aware of what was going on, how they were removing families from their tribal lands and getting them out of there. We see the same thing happening with the Dutch farmer situation. It's a land grab. They're trying to make sure that they can, enforce these green gas laws that are ridiculous and drive the cost of running a farm in the Netherlands there to take the land from these farmers. This is the type of stuff that's going on. They don't want us to own property. They want us to live in these cities and these, like here, these apartment complexes, all these things, that are so much more attractive because they can control you in that area rather than having you live out in the country and, have acreage that you own and things like that. So it's about control, and that's what the Bible tells us is coming with this world government and the WEF and the situation that's going on there with all their cohorts are, signs that, throw up red flags for us, for sure.
Well, two things, just to remind everybody, the line, which is this city that we're talking about, they say will be 650 feet wide, 1,600 feet tall, which is as tall as or taller than the Empire State Building, and it will stretch for just under 106 miles long. Yeah. This is going to be a really long, thin building in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
As I understand it, I've never been there, so I don't quite know where that land is that they're building on, but from the pictures I've seen, it appears to be in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's going to be 9 million residents. Very interesting. A lot of details there. Now, another thing to consider, what if Donald Trump runs again, what if he presented, instead of a wall, a building like the line that went all across the southern border?
You think that maybe everybody
might be celebrated by the world community?
Would be on board with that, maybe so. And you just put
it's no longer a bad thing.
All of the immigrants in that building.
Let them live there.
Yeah, that looks like a wall.
Funded by the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, how about that? Not a bad idea. Maybe you should run for office.
Well, you never know. So what's this portion? There's a story that came out in May, and you wanted to share just one section of it, and we'll do this before we get to some more calls here. But it's the title of the article is Saudi Arabia concludes participation at Davos WEF 2022.
Right.
And the quote you want to share is, in order to this is a quote from, I don't know who it's from, but I know it's a quote. Do you remember who it's from?
It's I can't remember what their delegate was, what his name was that was there, but it's the person who participated at Davos with the World Economic Forum from Saudi Arabia.
Okay, so it's their rep.
Yeah.
In order to consolidate the efforts of international cooperation between the kingdom and the WEF, the delegation signed a number of agreements. The first aims to boost the existing partnership opportunities between the kingdom and forum, explore future opportunities, identify opportunities that deepen the relationship to support the kingdom's transformation, and advance the global agenda in line with the main objectives of the WEF. Okay. So we're not making up stuff to tell people they're connected to WEF and look at how interesting this is in alignment with what they're saying.
Yeah, and especially we're not making up that there's an agenda behind this. We get people who get a little agitated with us saying that there's an agenda there and they want to know what the agenda is. This is part of the agenda. And you can go to the WEF and you can look up what their agenda is because they put it right there on their own website. And they tell you what their objectives are. Well, the Saudi Arabia government have signed agreements with the WEF to uphold those objectives and to help them accelerate. And so, just like you heard, they want that city to be completed by 2030, which is interesting because that's the same time that the WEF wants the Sustainable Development Goals all to be in place, is by 2030. That's why you hear Agenda 2030 so much.
We'll say it again, if you haven't heard yet. One of their principles is, you will own nothing and be happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the plan, to make that happen by 2030. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the phones. Let's go to Deanna in South Carolina. Deanna, welcome to End of the Age.
Hello, Hello, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
We're well. How are you?
I'm good. I remember you guys doing the Smart City program. It got me thinking, do you think I saw yesterday or the day before Biden had passed some type of CHIP Act, like to help the emissions, something with China to help get towards the Great Reset program. Does that have anything to do with like the smart cities in America and to like with this World Economic Forum to help him boost his Great Reset? Was that ever rejected?
Well, some of the agendas that he's pushing forward are sustainable development goals that line up with the WEF. He's talked about doing an economic emergency with the situation that we have with the gas prices and fossil fuel and all these things, where he could actually declare an emergency where we would shut down supplies for our fossil fuels and things like that, and have to reduce that to a certain amount because of the fact that they are saying that this produces global warming, and it's part of what's going on with the climate change and everything. So right now, we're hearing a whole lot about that. There were maybe 10 headlines about this emergency and this the Green New Deal and the fossil fuels, and even the Pope has said we need to repent and tell Mother Earth we're sorry and get rid of our automobiles. So there's been just so much about it here because it is part of that agenda that they're trying to push. And so he is very much in lockstep with the WEF and with the UN.
Could you, I have one more question. Could you explain, like, the difference between the Great Reset and the 2030 agenda so that I could better understand that? Or could you email me some links to that?
Well, it goes step in step with everything, what they're trying to do. This Great Reset, their whole idea for the Great Reset is they have to use these things that are happening right now, these emergencies that they say, like the pandemic is one of the things that they can use to help produce this. But basically what they want to do is they want to remove nationalism and bring democracy down, for these countries that have their self-sustained governments. They want to get rid of all that and have us on a global economy. They want this global agenda to be pushed that they have for the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. But you can look all this up. You just do a search and look up Sustainable Development Goal, look up Great Reset, look up Agenda 2030. All those things, they are all linked together. It's all part of the same deal. And that's why we're seeing the gasoline prices go up. That's why we're seeing like our economy is beginning to crash. That's why we're seeing things like the war in Russia is creating the food shortage. All these things, they're trying to make every single one of these crises become part of this, and they're going to be the solution. And so if you just go and search those up, you can find all kinds of articles on there, probably even more than I've got that I could send you. You could probably find a whole lot more than what I could give you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen. I hope y'all have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Deanna. You as well. Let's go to Jim in Colorado. Jim, welcome to End of the Age.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing great. Well, I believe in everything you guys are saying. I know it's true. I have one question. We know what they're doing, so other than passing on the message of the end times to save souls, obviously, is it biblical to unite and organize as Christians to expose, do our best to go against the New World Order in all ways today, currently?
I think that anything we can do to get that message out that's biblical. The thing is that this is prophesied. These things are going to happen because they're in the Bible. So we know they're going to happen. That's why we like to expose it and help people see, look, these plans are already in place. They're beginning to do these things because we want people to be motivated toward a kingdom mindset and seeking out the kingdom of God. And, that's kind of why we do this, is to educate people on what's going on, show them where it is in prophecy. But as far as we won't stop these prophetic events from happening, but we can definitely, as Christians, expose it to people as what it is and help them understand this is prophesied in the Bible, and we can see these things are coming at us. And there's no better time than right now to get your life right with the Lord and get your name written in the Lamb's Book of Life. So, I think that's biblical, to explain that to people. You got anything to add on that, Vince?
Yeah, right. I understand. I fully agree with all that. So, exposing them and uniting against them while we can. You see, goes under this to inform them of what's coming and to for their salvation also.
You got it, Jim. We're coming up on a break. We're got to let you go. Thank you for your call. We'll be right back. You can join us by calling 877 Endtime, 877-363-8463.
I've been part of the Endtime family from the beginning over 30 years ago when my parents, Irvin and Judy Baxter, began ministry from the recliner in our living room. My name is Jana Robbins. I have the pleasure of connecting with our incredible partners every day. Endtime is a small nonprofit that runs a high-traffic website, a daily TV and radio show, the Prophecy College in Jerusalem, and more. Although we have less than 30 team members, we are able to serve tens of millions of people each month. We survive on the goodness of God and donations averaging about $50. If everyone hearing this message gave $22, our financial needs would be met for the year. If you only give to one cause per month, please consider partnering with Endtime to help get the message of our soon-coming King out to the world. Call us at 1-800-ENDTIME to give today, or go to endtime.com to become a monthly or one-time partner.
Welcome back to End of the Age. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Once again, I want to remind you that Dave and Jana Robbins will be in the New Orleans area August 6th and August 7th, specifically in Marrero, Louisiana. The Saturday night session starts at 6 p.m. and the Sunday morning session starts at 9:30 a.m. You can go to endtime.com/events to learn more about the venue and the event details. And also, in spite of us having a full tour for fall 2022 this year, we actually had 3 spots open up. And so you can't go to our website to find out more about that. That's only available by calling in. You can go to, or rather call us at 800-ENDTIME, 800-363-8463. Ask for Brittany or Jan, and they'll be able to help you out with the tour, this information. It's this fall. It is going to be Jerusalem and all of Israel, essentially. So you want to make plans to come if you're able to do that. So call us at 800-ENDTIME to learn more.
This is our first time back.
Since 2019.
Okay, so it's been several years, and this is something people don't want to miss. I mean, it really is. I would encourage you, if you can go and go with us, because we don't go to all the touristy places. We go to some of them, but we go to the historic locations that are in our Bible. And when you're sitting there and you realize, man, I'm sitting right here where this event happened or this event happened, and it's just amazing because, like I said before, it makes the Bible come alive to you when you sit in those places. So I encourage you to go. It's amazing, and the COVID restrictions are even not in place anymore there for travel. So
I think they make you test, but the vaccine passport or anything like that is not required. And they may not even make you test anymore. You really need to call Brittany or Janet at 800-ENDTIME to get the exact details, because I'm not going to tell you something right. You will own nothing and be happy. That's what we're talking about today, because what Saudi Arabia has just recently released about their smart city called The Line, and also because what Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum has been talking about for several years now. We were taking calls right before the break, and we'll continue doing that. You can join us at 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. But before we do that, Doug, is there anything you want to cover that you think everyone needs to know? Because we are going to run out of time before we know it.
Well, let me just say this, because, I mean, we don't need to show the video of this, but I do want them to understand what those goals are. I was asked a while ago by one of the callers, what the difference is. Well, here's some of the things that the World Economic Forum predicts by 2030. Okay, same thing as Agenda 2030, same thing as Sustainable Development. Number one, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. So that's the number one thing. This comes straight off of their website, folks. Number two, the U.S. won't be the world's leading superpower, okay? So we see that happening right now. They're trying to tear our economy apart. They're trying to tear our country down. We're watching that happen from within. This is very much part of the World Economic Forum's plan for this country. Number three, you won't die waiting for an organ donor anymore, because now they're going to be able to make you an organ with 3D printers. Number four, you'll eat much less meat. Meat will be an occasional treat, not a staple. And that's going to be good for the environment and good for your health. Okay?
Hey, you mentioned the organ donor thing.
Yeah.
Part of their agenda doesn't include a 3D printer, right? It's just that you're not going to die waiting on an organ donor.
They can make organs with a 3D printer.
But I mean, their agenda isn't saying they're exclusively, because they would take one from
Oh yeah, it's just saying they'll be able to do that. They'll
Okay.
have the technology to do
You're not going to die from waiting on
waiting
an organ
because
donor.
they'll be able to make them. Yeah.
That was
So-
just very interesting to me that it got that specific. So I just wanted to
Well,
clarify.
the next one was the one that's interesting to me because
Oh,
I
come
like
on.
to eat meat. So
And what was that?
You won't be able to eat meat anymore. It'll be an occasional treat. I'm sure they're going to
Much
drive the
less
prices
meat,
up
yeah.
for beef. That's why they don't want you eating meat. But anyway, we won't go there. I could spend a whole show there. 1 billion people will be displaced by climate change. Polluters will have to pay a carbon tax for emitting carbon dioxide. They're going to follow your carbon footprint. Number 7.
Jeep drivers will have a problem.
Yeah, Jeep drivers for sure, because I burn up a lot of emissions in that thing. Number 7, you could be preparing to go to Mars. Why? I don't know. Why would we need to go to Mars?
Maybe
I
you
have
need
no
to live in
idea.
a little city like this.
Maybe so.
The line.
That one boggles my mind. And this is from the WEF website. Number 8, Western values will have been tested to the breaking point.
Oh.
Yeah. How about that? I think that they're referring to Christian values probably when it says Western values. Maybe patriotism too. I don't know. But anyway, so those are goals that are on their webpage. And I just wanted you to know Saudi Arabia has signed on agreements to push these goals forward. Okay, so that's what that's about. Now, I'm ready for whatever's next.
Well, I want to remind everyone, you will own nothing and be happy, which is a statement Klaus Schwab made, and the WEF backs.
Yes.
And they're trying to scrub it from their internet history.
Yeah.
They don't, for some reason,
Yeah, what could that be?
for some reason, they don't want that to be, they've deleted tweets, they've removed it from their website,
Yeah.
and so on. And I just want to remind everyone that with a message like what we're talking about today, Facebook and YouTube and any other elites, they don't really like us sharing this because they want to kind of eliminate that from the World Economic Forum reputation. So we need your help. We need you to share this video. We need you to comment that you're watching. We need you to give us a little heart icon instead of just a regular thumbs up. And we need you to tag your friends in the comments, and all that stuff will go a long way in helping us get the word out. So please do that now. Again, we are taking your calls, 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. Let's go to Tony in Tennessee. Tony, welcome to End of the Age.
Well, how are y'all doing today? I've been listening to your program, and it puts in mind of me, they're going back to that movie Total Recall, how things is going on, and they're trying to set it up to where it looks so easy and so good. I'm telling you, all this just scares the dogging out of me. I mean, our taxes around here in Tennessee is doubled, and they're trying to get us all to go to living in apartments instead of owning our own home.
Tony, you don't sound like
I
somebody
know
that's going to an apartment.
No, I ain't going yet. I own my place. Thank God that it's paid for.
Yeah.
But the taxes is getting so high, I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I'm going to sit back and listen to the rest of your program now.
And thank you for calling, Tony. I think he's right. He's got a great point. It's like something from a sci-fi movie. So, especially they went to Mars in the movie Total Recall. So, very interesting.
I don't know anything about that movie, to be honest.
You wouldn't. It was back in the 80s when
Oh,
Arnold
wow.
Schwarzenegger was kind of a big star.
Okay, got it.
You
All
weren't
right.
born yet.
Let's go to Larry in Texas. Larry, welcome to End of the Age.
Yes, green salutations. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're well. How are you, sir?
I'm blessed. I'm here in Dallas, Texas with you guys, so let's go ahead and move to one of those cities, right?
Right, Larry. Let's load up and just move right in there, and we can just set out on the patio and.
We know how efficient the dart rail is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Whoops,
We can
that made
we
me
can
have
trust
second
them.
thoughts. That's right. Yes, I just wanted to comment that. Well, first of all, I think there's a Minority Report that you're thinking of. One of you that mentioned Tom Cruise.
Doug.
Yes,
the name
that's
of the movie.
correct.
I ain't trying to claim that one.
You're right. Yes, Minority Report.
Yeah, I remember
is
that
the-
movie.
Yeah,
There was another one called Logan's Run. Do you remember that in the 70s where people had,
I
they
do.
lived in a city like that and they had like a sensor in their chest that would go off when they're 30 years old or something like that. They would be put in this chamber and then they would be put to death. But they said it was like, going back to sleep or the nirvana type of experience. So
Yes.
that's what I was thinking too about these sustainable cities. They can, poison you with food. Like Bill Gates wants to have lettuce that has the vaccine in it, the water and everything else. That's more control. So I was just wondering your feedback on that.
Well, that's interesting. I did actually talk about Logan's Run today with one of our guys from our. I can't even think. Thank you, from our team. Anyway, from our programming guys.
You remembering all these old movies? but
Man,
you
I'm
can't
telling
remember
you.
a simple word?
But yes, it reminded me of that as well, especially when I watched that video, because it did remind me of the city that they lived in Logan's Run. One of the interesting things you just said that reminded me from one of the articles that I read today, they talked about everything being recycled. Some of the things that we've talked about here in the past few months with the WEF, and they want us to eat bugs and things like that. Well, one of the other things they talked about was being able to recycle our waste, and that we would drink wastewater because it would be recycled. And I guarantee that's what this city's going to have. As I was reading through there, it was talking about renewable energy, and they would be able to recycle. And it talked about recycling water in that article. And I bet you anything that's what they're talking about. And I just can't even imagine. First of all, I'm not going to eat crickets and bugs like we showed a few weeks ago on that video. And I definitely don't want wastewater to be something I'm drinking. But we have gotten to the point to where life is getting more like a sci-fi movie than like real life. And it's mind-boggling. But you must be around my age if you remember Logan's Run.
Yes, I'm 55, and I think John the Baptist, he liked the locusts, but I don't think I want to eat them.
You're right,
That's
right.
crickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm around your age. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's even more devious because they could. Like, there's another movie by Disney. It was a kids' movie with these people.
Why do I
live
feel like
for-
this has turned into a TMZ show? Doug and Larry are taking things over with old movie talk.
Sorry.
That's right. I can't remember the name of it though, but these people. There's a cartoon where they lived on a ship for generations and
Jetsons.
generations, and these robots.
The Jetsons.
The Jetsons.
Yeah, these robots.
Larry, we've got
were on
another
there.
call we've got to get to.
Okay,
We
I'm
appreciate
sorry.
you calling and chatting. Thank you so much for your call. Let's go to
Thanks,
Ray
Larry.
in Indiana. Ray, welcome to End of the Age.
Hello,
Hi, Ray.
this is Larry.
This is Larry. Larry, where are you from? Indiana or Texas?
Larry from Indiana.
All right, Larry. Well, welcome to the show. You're live on the air.
I just wanted to make a comment here that I already own nothing, and I'm happy. It all belongs to Almighty God.
There you go.
Absolutely. You guys are doing a tremendous job. I love all y'all. I've been watching since Baxter. Irvin was on there. Sad he passed away, but he's waiting for us up in heaven.
There you
We'll
go.
be glad to see him when we get there.
Amen.
Right.
Thank you for your call,
Thank
Ray.
you.
God bless you. We appreciate
Larry.
you calling in. Larry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Still says Ray on the screen, so I messed it up. Thank you, Larry. Doug, people in the chat are wanting to know, is World War III going to happen before Agenda 2030?
I would think yes.
Because Agenda 2030 is, they're trying to accomplish these things before 2030.
Yeah, so I think that World War III is going to happen before 2030, the year 2030. I believe that it will, and will be, as soon as that happens, we believe that, the next thing that will happen is that peace treaty between Israel and the Palestinian folks, and that'll start the final 7 years. And so by the time we get to 2030, who knows where we're going to be prophetically, where we're going to be lining up. But I do think that war is going to happen before that.
All right, you said who knows. I would recommend sticking around here.
Yeah.
We've got thousands of hours of content available for totally free at endtime.com. And we have hundreds of thousands of hours of content available at watch.endtime.com. That's our End of the Age Plus platform. It's available in all the major app stores. So search End of the Age Plus. You can watch us on Roku, Apple TV, on your Apple devices or Android devices. So check that out. And we will be back here for Open Line tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. Don't forget, go to endtime.com/birthday.
This has been End of the Age, brought to you by the faithful partners of Endtime Ministries. If you're not currently a partner with Endtime Ministries, or if you would like more information, we invite you to call us at 1-800-ENDTIME. That's 1-800-363-8463, or visit us online at endtime.com.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page.